All right, everybody. It's Valerie here, and we are going to put a layer of epoxy on a cup. We're just gonna go over a little bit of basics, nothing really in depth, but kind of how I feel and how I work with epoxy. This is just a wood grain cup that needs a layer of epoxy before I put the vinyl on it. So first I will take trying to figure out this camera, sorry, a medicine cup, and it is just a simple 1 ounce fluid medicine cup. So I'm going to take 30 cc's of part A and 30 cc's of part B. You would like to put your thicker stuff in first, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is part A. But I'm not sure. Check it out, look at it. My bottles are so dirty you can't quite tell anymore. So you want to take that part and you want to put it in first. It's not gonna make a big deal if you don't. The only reason why I do it the other way is because it makes it easier to truly see how much you have in your medicine cup. That's all. It won't affect it as far as it won't mess things up. It's not a problem. So I'm gonna do 15 of each because I have multiple cups to do. There's some charts in different groups that will let you know how much to put on each one. Really depends on what you're doing, how much of a layer you want on it. It's up to you. So you just want to make sure you do equal parts of epoxy. So let me do that for you. And I'm sorry, this is gonna take a little bit of a minute. They kind of take a little while to come out. I hope everybody have a wonderful weekend this last weekend. And I am gonna be trying something a little different for me. I'm gonna be trying to use my silicone brush. I bought them, and I'll be honest, I don't know that I'm madly in love with them. I still feel like I have more control with my gloves, but I would much rather not touch the epoxy. So I'm gonna try to use my silicone today, and if I don't, and it just doesn't work for me, I'll use my gloves and use my hands. So either one is perfectly good with me. A lot of people love the silicone brushes. I've just not quite hit the rhythm yet. I've tried to use them 3 or 4 times, hence why they have epoxy stuck on them, down on the handle, that is. But the cleanup is really nice, and I love the idea I don't throw anything away. So hopefully I can get it to work with me. Come on, almost there. Okay. Oh, that takes forever. And then watch how fast this one works. All right, so thinner one is coming on in, and again, you want to do the same exact amount, so you're gonna go all the way up to your 30. This one is much easier to pour. It's very thin in viscosity. Perfect. Excuse me. Tilly, hush. I have a large dog. Or 2. So I personally use these sticks, okay? This stick is a skewer from the Dollar Tree that I've cut in half. I don't need them as long as they are. It's an easy $1. I think it's 200 sticks. It's wonderful. So you're going to take this and you are going to mix. Put it in and you just slowly go in a circle. Now this is a big key. A lot of people want to go as fast, and I've done it before, where I just haul through it as fast as I can, and that's not what you actually want to do. You want to take it slow. The other thing is you want to stay the same exact direction. I did not do this for the first probably month and thought that was rubbish, but let me assure you, the very first time that you sit there and do it, you'll be amazed how much less bubbles you will create when you stay the same exact direction. The other thing that's nice of that is, I don't care what anybody says, is the less you create, the less you have to pop. I will use a heat gun to pop my bubbles. My wonderful father gave it to me, but I think you can get them at Harbor Freight for around $10. So it's not like it's a huge purchase or anything like that, and it really does make a difference. So I will just sit here and slowly go through. And my dogs are growling, sorry. One's grouchy and old. What are you gonna do? So, can I help you? Okay, now she's back out of here again. She wants to play, apparently. So we're just gonna sit here and continue. And we're just slowly going. You wanna typically go, what I've always been told is between 3 to 5 minutes. I don't look at it for 3 to 5 minutes. That is not how long I do it. I will do it until I see absolutely 0 ribbons in my epoxy. That is literally, that is my gauge. I will sit here for 12 minutes if I need to. I don't care. Just going all the way through and getting all those ribbons. Because if you see all those ribbons? Yeah, that's what you don't want. That is, it's still mixing. So you'll just sit here and go through over and over and over again until you eventually have a perfectly clear set. Now I've already done these cups. I've already rubbed these down with alcohol. I spray painted them -1, so I should not have to worry about it, but I thought it's better to go on and do it. The other thing is, make sure you let it fully 100% dry before you put your epoxy on it. So alcohol, wipe it down with alcohol, give it a few minutes, then start your epoxy so you know it is fully dry. Alcohol only takes a few seconds to dry, let's be honest. But I have had those weird moments where I end up with some funky things on my cup, whether it be fish eyes or bubbles or funky bumps, that you're wondering, what exactly did it? Well, if you let your alcohol cure completely dry off of it, then it will help the situation quite a bit. So, again, I'm just going through. You'll see how boring this is. Yeah, this is the worst part right here, in my opinion. Just sitting here going through over and over and over, and I'm really going too fast, let's be honest. I really need to slow it back down because I'll get bubbles, and I don't want bubbles. A lot of people will tell you to keep the stick off the bottom. I don't. I want to drag the bottom. I'm scared that I will do a cup and it will be sticky. So if it creates just a little bit of bubbles because it's on the bottom, create those darn bubbles. We'll pop them with a heat gun later. But I don't want a sticky cup because then you have to try to wipe it off, which I've never bothered to try. I just strip it. I've only done it once and I don't want to do it again. So I will over stir with the knowing that eventually it's okay. It will harden and look beautiful. So you're just mixing away. And I'll go on and cut out for a few minutes, finish this, and come back to you. All right, everybody. This is fully done. You see how clear it is? Do you see how you can see bubbles, but you cannot see any ribbons? There's none of that. When you pull this up, you should be able to really genuinely see clearly through. Now, if I was gonna be picky, I would sit this here for about 3 minutes. And a lot of these little bubbles will just come up on their own. But we're just gonna go on and take care of it because I've got another cup, and another cup, and another cup to go. So, we're just gonna go on and turn this turner on. I'm sorry if it moans, I can't quite help it. They're evil, sometimes they like to do that. So, we're just gonna go on and turn it on. All right, so I personally like it coming this direction. Ooh, goodness. I like it coming this direction, clockwise, because I like to push it this way. Okay, I'm gonna try to be good, like I said earlier, and use my silicone sponge or silicone brush. As I said, I don't normally do this, so we're just gonna come on across here and bring it straight down. I'm trying to be the least amount of messy you can be. Keywords. As you can be. I am purposely wearing a shirt that I call my epoxy shirt, so I'm sorry if I look a little bizarre. And it's just strictly because I tend to get epoxy all over me. And if I can at least go on and have a shirt that it does not matter if I get it on there, because it already is, that makes my life just a little easier. Now, I read a bunch of stuff on these silicone brushes. As I said, I've tried it before, wasn't hating it, wasn't loving it, just kind of blah, somewhere in the middle. It's okay. So one of the big things they said was no pressure. The only reason why I think mine bugs me is because mine is actually, if you look closely, longer on the ends. And that's, you know, you'd think be a good thing because it cups the cup. But unfortunately, it also for me leaves ribbon marks, which, yes, epoxy self-leveling, it will fix itself, but mentally it bugs me while I'm doing the cup. So I like to make sure that there's none of those. So we're gonna keep trying. I would like to not use the epoxy, and again, it would be really good if I did not have to think about throwing away nitrate gloves every time, because that is wasteful. I am going to push towards using silicone cups in the future. They haven't come in yet. I just figure the more I can save, the better. Less garbage, the better. So you want to make sure you hit the bottom. That's the part I always get it on me, is the bottom. And it's because I'm trying to catch it, I know. But again, I feel bad wasting it because epoxy is not cheap. So we're just gonna come around the edge. Again, it's self-leveling, so if it's not perfect, it is okay. But you do want to make sure you get it everywhere. Fish eyes. Fish eyes are a thing. Okay, everybody has to deal with them. They're annoying and frustrating. Sometimes you'll understand. Sometimes you'll have no idea where it came from. Most of the time, in my personal opinion, it is you either did not wipe down your cup, because you do want to wipe down your cup, or you put too little or too much. Okay, there's something I call ribbons. I don't know what they're actually called. I'm not good with the lingo, but I call them ribbons. When you put too much epoxy on a cup, it's kind of flows in a very weird way, and it doesn't quite self-level the way you would think it does. So you'll end up with these ribbons, or you can also end up with divots if you don't use enough. And it's hard to understand because a lot of people will do the hang method. And the hang method, you don't have enough epoxy to create divots. And it's kind of like a fine layer somewhere in between of what does work and what doesn't. You just want to get yourself a good layer that will fully coat the whole cup. And once you're done with that, it's easy, no problems. Again, make sure you hit that top really good. I have a bad habit of not necessarily hitting the top in a certain spot and then realizing it later. That doesn't work. A lot of people will go side to side, and then up and down. I personally just go up and down. A lot of times, normally when I have my finger, I go like this. And that way you're dragging it, but with this thing, I don't know that I love that. So again, just get yourself flat. That's all you're really worried about, is are you flat? You got yourself a good lay. Oh, see, there was definitely a divot there. You're just gonna continue around the cup until you are perfectly content. And I'm gonna let it rotate for a second. See, that was not much. Honestly, that was about 8 mils. So, put on my plastic so I can peel it off in a moment. I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna grab my heat gun. Oh dear. And it doesn't really fit in the frame. So, I'm worried that if I move you too much, that's what I was worried about, is junk would fall. Where did that even come from? I'm not even sure. Okay, so I'm just gonna hit with my heat gun out of frame. I put it on low, I don't put it high, and I will just sit here and go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I'll actually bump it up since I am farther away than normal. And I just let it go all the way around in a circle. You're looking for the bubbles to be popped. You will physically see them pop. You do want to keep it normally away anyway. You want to move very quickly. You do not want to stay in one spot or you will burn your epoxy. That is the thing. You normally also want to hit the bottom. But, yeah, it's kind of hard to hit it from way over here. Again, I will just make sure I look through very quickly, see if I see any bubbles that I'm concerned about, and I don't. So, I think we are golden, we are good, and again, this is the wood grain. It's really popular, a lot of people like it, and it's not too complicated, which is super nice. So, that's it. That is the end of the epoxy video. I'll just let it rotate. In 30 minutes, I will come over and peel the tape off the top. No, it does not have to be exactly on 30. It really just depends on what epoxy you use. I have used Alumilite, and with Alumilite, I really genuinely needed probably an hour and a half before I pulled it because it would just move and it just didn't leave a great line. On the other hand, now I use Pro Marine and I can leave that on for 30 minutes and pull it and I am good, and that's all it takes. So, simple, easy tutorial on epoxy. I do not touch it for 4 hours. That's just me personally. After 4 hours, you can move it. I normally don't. You see, I have these crazy contraptions. Well, you don't see the whole thing, but I don't have PVC pipes currently. Currently, I am on tubes, or on pool noodles on the actual poles. So I don't try to take them off. I leave it alone. I leave it just how it is. And just rotate it for about 8. And after 8, I will take it off and set it aside and leave it alone until I'm ready to do whatever I need to do for the next layer, or just let it sit alone for 72 hours to finish. All right, well, I think I'm done. I'm sure I forgot a few things. I will update you when I can. I hope all is well. And leave some comments, leave some encouraging comments and leave some encouraging comments, and we will see you again soon. Have a good day.